Hello, everyone. This is the recording of my final project. So let's reflect on our teaching. How do you currently use technology to enhance speaking skills? Online recorders, virtual reality, maybe? Before we do answer these questions, I would like to dive into the following patterns. Let's analyze the Bloom's taxonomy by Benjamin Bloom, 1956. We need to take a look over, first of all, what is this Bloom's taxonomy? Let's revise them. This will be for learning. We are going to divide this into sections, the lots part and the HOTS part. You might be wondering, what is the lots and what is the HOTS and what are their main differences? So each level in the Bloom's taxonomy builds on the last, and we need to start somewhere. So that's why we need to start in the lots category, the foundation of knowledge. First and foremost, let's consider these stages, which are just two: remember and understanding. So this lots section will be the low order thinking skills that knowledge will be built upon. Later on, we do have the HOTS part, which are going to be the high order thinking skills, by the other hand, which are later than understanding something, we need to apply, analyze, evaluate, and finally create. You can guide yourself through this image so you will understand better. You have the image of somebody just reading something. That'll be the first layer, which will be maybe reading something or understanding some basic concepts, some verbs, some grammar structures. Later on will be the understanding section. So as you can take a look over right here, we do have a person who is like drawing, trying to make sense of what are the things that this person have just understood. Upon this, we have the application. Now, this person who have learned about geometrics, previously remembering some of the basic concepts, now has developed some kind of paper airplane and throw it through the air, similar to what the birds do. Later on, he's analyzing, he's reflecting about what are his conclusion. After he has analyzed it, now it's time to evaluate. Now it's evaluating its knowledge. And finally, we do have the last section, which is one of the crucial aspects of learning something, which is going to be the creation of something. Considering these, I would love to talk about the next model and later on how I will apply this into my lesson plan. This is the summer model by Rubén Puente Dura, which was released in 2006, Enhancement and Transformation. So this summer model is a proposal that will help us to understand much better these following concepts. So summer model, what its main objective is to include technology into teaching and learning to create meaningful tasks. You might be wondering, yes, but what do we have right here between summer model and also the Bloom's taxonomy? We are going to go from the lower levels up to the upper levels with this summer model. And I will talk about what is these stages about. So summer model of learning will come from the S of substitution, which right here we will use technology in order to substitute some tasks that can be done in real life. Augmentation right here also, we do not alter that much the original task. Then we have the third, which is going to be modification, which now we are going to modify these activities. And finally, we have redefinition, that in this case, we will need to redefine our task in which technology is a must and cannot be done without it. Therefore, once that we understood the stages and its main concepts, let's continue talking about the traditional task. So for my project, I have took this task in which is going to be based about the PET Cambridge exam, which will measure the B1 level according to the Common European Framework of Reference. In this case, the students will be working just in the first task. We have to have this in mind. It's not the full speaking 3 parts exam of the PET, but actually will be just the first task. This task recap will be original, like this. Students are asked to describe a picture individually for 1 minute. They are also asked to answer a short follow-up question based on the picture. The photos are shown in a printed leaflet, the skill tested, describing people, places, activities, and giving opinions. Visual stimuli, students will describe pictures based on people going to different places in their cities. Okay, so these will be the main task as traditionally is done. Now let's apply it. Let's use this summer model and also let's enhance it with AI. So this traditional task, as you can take a look over, this will be like the traditional task, how the students are set next to each other, describing some pictures. So the traditional paradigm in the speaking practice. Now, let's start with substitution. Technology substitute traditional tools, but doesn't change the task fundamental function. Task recap, the activity. Instead of using printed material, in this case photographs, the students will be shown the picture digitally on a screen, such as Zoom or via PowerPoint or Google Slides. Tools, PowerPoint, Google Slides, or any platform where images can be displayed digitally. The student's actions, the student will speak for 1 minute, describing the digital pictures just as they would with a printed one. So right here, as you can take a look over, is the same thing that we do in a face-to-face class, but we're just using a platform such as Zoom to describe this picture. So now that we have this in mind, the activity hasn't changed that much. These will be some of the pictures, and the topic will be staycations. So why do people choose to go to these places? Will they go in a vacation? So the students will take a look over this picture and will come up with their own answers. They can even make them up. Once that we know how this first activity will be handled, let's continue now with the augmentation. Let's keep in mind that we are just talking about the description of a picture according to the PET exam. Now, in augmentation, technology enhances the task by adding functional improvements. What are going to be these improvements? Let's divide this in 3 parts. Task recap. The students record themselves describing the picture using a tool like Padlet, Bookaroo, or a mobile phone recording app. So right here, the students will record themselves. The tools needed here will be Padlet for video response, Bookaroo for voice recording, or any recording app. The students will describe the picture while recording their voice or video. They can replay the description to reflect on their performance. Additionally, they can share the recording with peers or the teacher for feedback. In this case, how AI will enhance this section will be providing feedback. So we'll provide like formative feedback in which the student will see their flaws so they can improve. Let's continue moving and step forward. Let's remember to keep in mind that we're just talking about the first activity in the PET exam, which is picture description. Modification. So a collaborative podcast creation for PET description, the PET description section. Now, let's keep in mind that in modification, we modify this activity. So what will be this teamwork? Keep it in mind that we are working with staycations. The teamwork, in this case, the students collaborate in pairs or groups to create a podcast using Anchor, describing staycation scenarios as practice for the PET picture description task. Real-life practice. Discussion stimulate authentic conversations, helping students improve fluency and prepare for the exam. Peer feedback. Students provide feedback to each other, focusing on pronunciation, vocabulary, fluency, enhancing their speaking skills for the PET exam. How AI will enhance this? Again, will help with them podcast creation in this case, and also providing feedback. Can be like a self-made feedback or a peer feedback that can be done by their peers or also by the teacher. Focusing on improving the way that they are using those tools. Finally, The last section will be redefinition. Let's keep in mind that redefinition redefines completely this activity, keeping in mind that we are still using the picture description section. In this case, the students create virtual tours, design detailed virtual tours using Google Earth, practicing how to describe destination scenarios, which directly prepares them for the descriptive task required in the PET speaking exam. They will share and collaborate. These tours are shared on platforms like Google Classroom, encouraging interactive discussions that mimic real-life communication and collaboration. Keeping in mind that also right here, the students can use AI in order to help them to boost their speaking skills, either providing feedback or helping them choosing the proper scenarios that they will use for their speaking practice. Finally, the live feedback. Peers provide real-time feedback on pronunciation, fluency, and descriptive accuracy, helping students refine their speaking abilities and gain confidence for the exam. Thanks. This will be the end of my presentation. I hope that you have liked it. And right here, you will find some of the reference that I have used for my final project.